Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 28th of October. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own chance. I'm not here to issue trading signals, right? This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, first thing to start off with today. At the moment, the estimate that for the shutdown lasting is 43.6 days, and obviously it started on, I think, the 1st of October, so that would be suggesting that it's currently forecast to finish on the 12th of November. I think some limited negotiations are happening, at least in the Senate, although the House Republicans haven't been in for quite a while. So we will see how that goes. But obviously, as long as this lasts, this is actually leaning bearish. Morning, George. So we will see how that goes. In the short term, we've now got possible 60-minute sell signals brewing on ES and NQ. And if we are going to see a reversal today, I would see that as being likely from a high this morning. I'll talk about that on the RTH chart. On RTY, we had a 60-minute sell signal that's now reached a possible near miss target. On YM, which is continuing higher, which is good because I'll show you why it needed to continue higher on the RTH charts. We've got a 60-minute sell signal, which actually is in some danger of failing and could fail today, but is still looking good at the moment. On DAX, we've barely moved, just sideways really. This could be a bull flag setting up a retest of this high. Doesn't necessarily need to be. ESTX has already retested the high. We've got a beautiful nested double top setup, and that may break down at any time. So let's have a look at the shorter-term charts. Okay, in terms of the Bollinger Bands, we touched the 3SD upper band on SPX yesterday. This is a really good time to be looking for a reversal. So we don't often see the 3SD upper band touched, and did we quite make it yesterday? Visually, yes, actually a bit short, but nonetheless, looking very, very stretched. Looking at the hourly chart, no current divergence on the hourly chart here. We need a pull back and then a retest to deliver that. In terms of the trend line I was looking for, that was hit perfectly at the high yesterday. This is the existing rising wedge trend line. Morning, Doug. So this is a really, really, really nice looking rising wedge. It's peachy. Now, of course, wedges do sometimes overthrow quite a lot of the time, actually. And it could be that we're going to see that. But we will see how that goes today. But that is a really, really nice looking rising wedge. Does it mean it can't break up? No. And of course, we could see a bearish overthrow. But I'm a bit concerned about timings in terms of, well, I was thinking October's not about a time to see a retracement, but we are almost out of October. If we are going to see some action here, then I'm really leaning towards that happening in the next day, and we do have the setup here for it now. This is a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing on ES. We've got another one on NQ. We had one, and it's reached a possible near miss target on RTY, and YM, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed already. Obviously, that needs to not fail, but nonetheless, it's looking pretty good. So if we are going to see some retracement, the obvious time to see that was be today. And looking at the charts on the Qs reached the 3SD upper band. It didn't close above it, I don't think, but it closed pretty much on it. 628.55. It closed at 629.55. That basically we're seeing tests of the 3SD upper bands on both SPX and the Qs. Don't think, are we seeing that on Dia as well? Pretty much, yeah. This is a time where you would normally expect to see some consolidation. We've got hourly sell signals. I'm liking it. Let's have a look at the Qs on the hourly chart. I gave two trend lines here. I said it might break up into the this trend line here, and I'm thinking we might hit that today. Alternatively, this could of course be a bearish overthrow. Looking at Dia, Dia almost reached the obvious trendline resistance yesterday, and I've got a feeling that's going to be hit this morning. Again, very nice looking rising wedges. I'll come to my reservations about this, which is mainly about when it is. But let's do that in a minute. Let's have a look at IWM. Okay, IWM on the hourly chart. This has been this is nowhere near the 3SD upper band, but it is over the daily upper band. In terms of the in terms of where we are here, I'd be leaning towards seeing a retest of this high here at 252.77. We've already made it up to 252.21, but it still makes a pretty decent looking little level top, albeit with one with the support here rather than here. So I'll be changing that over. I'm hoping to get a post out today. Don't know if I'll manage that, but we will see. But really, this if we were going to top, the main concern, the thing, well, if we're going to top here, this morning would probably be the perfect time to do that. We've got signals, the trend line's looking good. And actually on Wednesday, tomorrow, we've got a bearish leaning day. My concern is that I've got a bullish day leaning on Thursday, neutral Friday, bullish leaning days on Monday and Tuesday, neutral on Wednesday, bullish on Thursday and Friday next week. You see where I'm going with this. I'm a little concerned about I'm a little concerned about where this might be going. So we will see how that goes. But, well, we'll see. November, I would say, though, is possibly the most bullish month of the year, historically. So the closer we get to November, the more nervous I am about it not actually breaking down. But the setup here is probably as nice as it's ever going to get. And it's looking pretty good. We will see. And we've actually got an hourly RSI 5 sell signal fixed here on IWM. Looking at DAX, DAX, we are still kicking around the daily middle band. No clear direction here. Closed slightly above it late yesterday, I think. Yes, we did. Looking at Nikkei. Nikkei, we are at trendline resistance, pretty much exactly. So that is a possible rising channel. It needs to actually reverse there, and I think this looks as though we might be going slightly through it. Wouldn't be astonished if we did go through it, but we've got encouragingly a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing here on the daily. We do still have outstanding sell signals on all of the daily charts. Here we've got one on the IWM daily chart. If we have a look at the bigger picture ones on the other three. SPX, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. On Keys, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. On Dire, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. If we are going to see a retrace, this would be a really good time to see that. We will see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, we reached the sell signal target. Keeping an open mind as to direction here. USD JPY, I'd be leaning towards seeing another retest of this high, which is obviously this bull flag broke up and has already made the target. USD CAD, we've got a head and shoulders breaking down here. Pretty decent quality, but of course it can always reject back up into the high. And the Australian dollar, we've got an IHS which has broken up, and we've also broken up over declining resistance here, which is supporting it. We will see how that goes. But DX overall, I'm still liking the bull side. I am wondering whether we're going to see a bit more retracement before we go and do that. All right, looking at ZB. ZB, we had a little double top here, and that has broken down and has partially rejected here. But there is another alternative that I'm looking at, and particularly as a weak 60-minute sell signal is fixed. I'm pretty bearish on bonds here. I mean, U.S. national debt has gone up $2 trillion since the start of the year, and really, there's nothing for the bond market to hold on to and think. Apart from various comments that Trump's going to sort out paying off the national debt, there's no actual actions he's taking, which would suggest that he's got any interest in doing that. Actually, about half pretty close to half of the national debt is really over the last 10 years. Much of that was actually done by Trump himself. He doesn't seem to be too worried generally about this. This is, in terms of what we might be doing here, we might be falling the right shoulder on this larger head and shoulders here, which we obviously have a target down here at about the 115.22 area, I think. We've got a weak 60-minute sell signal fix, seeing how that goes. ZN, nice nested double top setup here, waiting to see. But I'm both of these, I'm leaning pretty clearly to the downside. Now, CL. Now, mainly, the press seems to think this is about Russian sanctions. Personally, I don't think the amount Russia's putting into the marketplace actually merits this kind of reaction. But nonetheless, we've had this kind of reaction, and I have been talking about potentially starting a big bull move. This could be the start. We could be forming an IHS right shoulder here, and it's pretty much in the ideal situation. area for that now, and we've got the sell signal has made the full target. HO, sell signals reached the possible limit target. Wait a second. Misspelled that, it'll annoy me. Looking at RBOB, the 60-minute sell signals reached the possible near miss target. This looks like a bull flag forming. So I'm thinking we're probably going to see retest those highs. May well see continuation higher. NG, sell signals made target. We're testing the monthly pivot as support. And this looks, it isn't a good bear flag setup here, but it's not awful either. And it looks like a bull flag setup. I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of this high here in the 4.135 area. Looking at GC. GC, we had a little double top. We've made target. Week 60-minute buy signal is fixed and has delivered nothing so far. Does this need to go any lower? No. And I'm wondering if we might see a rejection back to the high. SI, we've broken down from a head and shoulders. It's nice, it's clear, it's got a target in the 34,940 area. And if it's going to reverse back up, this would be the obvious place to do it. We don't have any positive divergence overnight, though, which is one thing I was looking for. On palladium, large head and shoulders is broken down with a target in the, I haven't marked that in for some reason, 1085 area. So I'm, again, if we're going to break reverse back up into a retest the high, this would be the perfect place to do it. Gold, I think, is suggesting we might go down a bit more. I'm actually going to have a quick look at that. Bear with me. All right, the RSI 5 sell signal has now made the full target. Maybe. We're breaking down, we're trying to break down below the daily middle band here. We saw a break yesterday. The question is that going to reject today? Which it might. If it doesn't, this potentially opens more downside, and there is a possibility of forming a larger head and shoulders here to match the ones on silver and palladium. Looking at platinum, nothing particularly obvious in terms of topping patterns here. Could be a bear flag, but doesn't look great as one of those either. HG, we almost made it, but not quite to the retest of this high here. We don't necessarily have to make it all the way. But this looks like a little bull flag, and I think we're probably unlikely to about to retest that. The obvious read for this would be the second high on a double top to take us down to a retest of these lows, which are we've been waiting so long for this. They're actually dropping off the back of this 3-month chart now. Looking at KC. KC, we've broken down. I have seen comments about an all-time high on KC here, which isn't quite right in terms of the spot price, but this is the second high potentially of a double top. We've broken down from this rising megaphone. My lean would be towards the bear side. KC is in very, very rarefied territory historically for price. It makes sense that this would be a double top. So I'm not that surprised to see this reverse when it does the retest and to be trying to break through the monthly pivot now. If it breaks that, then that opens up double top support, which I've got in about the 348 area. Looking at sugar, sugar may be breaking down here. We have always had in the background this head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target a lot lower. We will see how that goes. CC. CC, we've got a lovely, now that I've rolled this into March, falling megaphone, which held perfectly, and we've got a possible flag set up here. That hasn't broken down yet, but if we do see that breakdown, this could get down into a retest of this low here and potentially lower into this support trend line. 60-minute sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. CT, this kind of looks like a bear flag forming. Might go higher, might make this target outstanding here in the 65-70 area, but it kind of looks like a bear flag. Lumber, this looked like a bear flag. It has broken down. I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the low. That would normally be an inflection point. We've already got a double top, which is suggesting this can go an awful lot lower. This could, of course, be a double bottom, which could take us back up into these highs. I'd be leaning towards the first option. We've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed. On wheat, nice move up. I have been talking for a while about the possibility we might start serious bull runs on both wheat and corn, and this could be the start of that. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed here on corn. Break up, possible double top set up here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this continue higher. 60-minute sell signal fixed as well. Like the wheat one, it hasn't really delivered much so far. Soy, this has gone up and retested this high, and we've actually got, sorry I haven't marked it in, but we've got a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing here. Waiting to see how that delivers, but at the moment we're not stopping at the prior high, we're continuing higher. This may be on optimism, obviously, over a deal with the Chinese. ZL, Soybean oil looks like a bear flag forming. It looks as though it's close to breaking down. Live cattle, this broke down. Now, this might be well beyond talk of the importing beef into the US from Argentina. That isn't going to be very popular with anybody, I don't think. I'm wondering whether that's going to survive. So we've had a double top breakdown here. I haven't marked in the targets for some reason. I have marked in the targets on the notes. But the targets are a lot lower. But we could easily reject back into the high. I'm not sure if there's any appetite in the US to be into importing beef from Argentina. So I'm thinking that might be a short-term thing. Lean hogs, nice looking potential level bottom here, and we will see how it goes. All right, let's have a look at questions. On GC, is that possibly a large head and shoulders? Yes, I was talking about the possibility we could be forming a head and shoulders here, and this would be the neckline. And you can see it on the daily chart too. We'd see a bounce here and then a breakdown. Alternatively, we could already have a head and shoulders here. So that could be a head and shoulders. And that would be breaking down with a target approximately in the 3600 area. So yeah, we may have that already. So I am wondering about rejection back up into the high, but yeah, is that potentially on the cards? Yes, it is. And if we don't reject back up to the highs, then that's got a real shot because silver and palladium both have decent setups to the downside here, and they could follow through. All right, great. In that case, hang on, bottom in metals, George, very possibly. So we've got an inflection point here. Either we reject back up into the highs or we continue down, and we have got a shot at making it to these rather ambitious looking head and shoulder targets. We will see. All right, great. In that case, that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.